Hey, what's up, and welcome in to Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Thanks so much for downloading the podcast and checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com. Look for Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on everything we do on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood, brought to you by Ankin Law. 3126 million for the great Howard Ankin. Think about it. Injury law made personal. He's always there for you. We did a commercial, David Kaplan and I, a commercial in studio. We're reading the commercial, and Howard Aiken says, "Excuse me, gotta take a phone call." This is Howard. Uh-huh. 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 All right, call me back. 3126 million. He takes the phone call because someone needed help, and Howard actually was there to take your phone call. I'm like, how is this happening? The reason why it's happening is because he cares about people. Howard Ankin, injury law made personal. Put that number in your phone just in case you need it. 3126 million for the great Howard Ankin. Sign my ball. So the trade deadline is come and gone for the Chicago Bulls. How you like that, Bulls fans? You like that? Please put your comments, by the way, in the chat. And we also have super chats as well. So if you'd like to be able to give us a super chat on the Chicago Bulls and the trade deadline, please do so as we bring in Charles Taylor, our resident Bulls curmudgeon. And he joins us right here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. As always, sir, I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you having me on as always. Oh, good grief. Do we really have to go through this?
Oh yes. Oh yes. This is Christmas for you, sir. This is for you because on your blogs and on your social media, you're always talking about the Chicago Bulls. Tell people where they can find you, by the way, on your social media platforms.
Yeah, you can find me YouTube, TikTok, Threads are the main three places that you can find me.
Yes. And where exactly?
CTJ14.
That's a good spot to find you.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly. As a matter of fact, I'll handle this from here. Yes, there it is. The ctjreport.net. And so there you have it right there. So we are with the trade deadline coming and going for the Chicago Bulls, and Arturas Karnisovas, the main man over there on the west side, the man that has a plan, decides that he's going to trade the assets that were not effective enough for the Bulls to be able to be a playoff team this season. That's Kobe White, and that's Ayo Dosunmu, and that's Vucevic and Dalen Terry and everyone else that he could try to get out of this off this basketball team. And so here you are, Charles. So what do you think of what the Bulls are able to do here at the trade deadline? Usually it's very quiet, but there's a lot of moving parts.
All right. Well, one, I'm actually surprised he made moves because the history has been he stands pat, sees what this team is going to do. And then, at the end of the season, it's like, well, if we were healthy, throughout the year, we really could have, been competitive. He knew that the writing was on the wall. And I don't know, 2, 3 years too late, he finally decides to blow this thing up, which would have been the right call 2, 3 years ago. Uh, the funny thing is, had he done this 2, 3 years ago and blown the thing up after the Zach LaVine, Vooch, DeMar DeRozan contingent, didn't quite pan out, you probably could have gotten a first round pick or two.
Yes.
Zero. Think about that. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, all gone. Zero first round draft picks. That's insane. That is professional malpractice. If you are a GM of a basketball team, there is no way you can have that type of talent. Was it great talent? No, but it was good talent. It was good talent. There's no way you allow those 5 guys to walk out the door and you get zero first round draft picks back.
So Ishwill is telling you right here, it says the Bulls ownership needs to grow a pair and get rid of this management regime. No first round picks is not going to work. Ishwill, you are absolutely right. Tyler Aki, when I was doing the Cap and J Hood morning show, 6 to 9 a.m. Central on ESPN 1000, also on the ESPN Chicago app. We were talking about this, and Tyler said, if I'm Bulls ownership, I allow AK to be able to stockpile the 85 second round draft picks and then fire him tonight. Seriously, because there is no direction. There's a direction that you got rid of players, but here's the thing. the key of what you said and what Ish just said is that when you don't get any first round picks, that means you're doing a bad job as general manager. Ain't nobody gonna tell me that the Chicago Bulls couldn't have been able to get themselves a first round draft pick for Kobe White. But Arturas Karnisovas was sliding his feet and letting the grass grow. I know for a fact that there's a number of general managers that would have liked Kobe White, six man off the bench, igniter offensively, energy. He's going to bring that to any basketball team. But yet, AK was just holding out hope that this team was all of a sudden going to be Oklahoma City. And the Bulls were never going to be Oklahoma City. Okay, they're never going to be the Spurs. They're never going to be Cleveland. They're never even going to be Boston. It is shameful for Arturas Karnisovas to let grass grow under his feet and not be able to make the deals that you needed to. Even coming into the season, the most optimistic Bulls fan had to know, yeah, even though Indiana and Boston is banged up, we probably are not going to be a top 5 team. And guess what? They're not. With this particular trade deadline, the Chicago Bulls made Charlotte a play-in or playoff team. That's what I take out of it, because now Charlotte will replace the Bulls in that treadmill of mediocrity, taking on the Heat for every play-in game. Charlotte will take their place. So thanks so much, Art, for nothing. He should be fired 2 nights now that the deadline's over.
Oh, absolutely. Like, pack up his office. He doesn't even have to go and clear out his office. We'll do it for you. We'll mail it to you. Thank you. Yeah. That'll be all. But like, this is just unbelievable that he's been allowed to steer this ship for the past several years, and ownership continues to allow him to keep bringing back mid basketball teams with, oh, we can get into the play-in, and maybe sneak into the playoffs. That's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it in a city like this. Maybe Charlotte, that might work for Charlotte. That might work for New Orleans. That might work for some of these other teams. But when you're talking about a team that has 6 NBA championships in the rafters, that's not going to work here. We've seen what excellence has been. We've seen what good teams, have been in contention for championships. This was far from it. And just going into the season with this, okay, we're going to win by committee. That didn't work either, even though they got off to the hot start. So I guess my question is, what does Michael Reinsdorf do at this point? Because at least Karnisovas has now picked a lane, but he should not be trusted at all to do this rebuild, because he fumbled an opportunity to rebuild after the Zach Vooch DeMar thing didn't work. He fumbled it then. So why in the world would the Reinsdorfs give him another opportunity to try and rebuild?
No, I don't know. You don't get another bite of the apple when you've just been floundering. If you started off, your tenure as general manager, say, we can kind of redo this thing and start from the bottom. And by the way, I'm not one for tanking. I'm definitely not one for tanking if you don't know what the hell you're doing as a general manager. So this is why you had Levine and the DeRozan and Lonzo Ball. And so that was all good. Lonzo Ball is not the reason why the Bulls collapsed. The reason why the Bulls collapsed is because they had no vision beyond that. Beyond that 3 they had. And by the way, those 3, the idea that they were going to be able to beat Cleveland or be one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, that just wasn't going to happen because you didn't have enough. But the thing is that they were just floundering. And now it's the Kobe White regime, and now it's Buzelis and all those guys. And just kind of like, that team was never going to be good enough to be, Charles, a top 5, top 6 team, a serious contender. You have to pick a lane in sports. Either you're going to bottom out or you're going to have to go for it. And the Bulls never had the balls to go for it. Every trade deadline would pass, and we're good with continuity. We play good second half, and we go and we play in, and we give it. Hell no. No. Now, what are you left with? You're left with right now, because the players are gone. And I just want everyone, if no one has seen Charles on Under the Hood before, here's a guy here. If you're wondering who's watching Bulls games every night, it's this guy right here. This guy's watching Bulls games and commenting on it every night. He's agonizing every night with less than mediocre play basketball-wise. So now we have a team, by the way, again, with about 25 second-round draft picks, because those are valuable. That's like penny stocks. And then you also have about 10 guards on this team. So that's another problem. You made all these deals, and now you're just guard heavy. So you're going to get beat every night defensively. Josh Giddey, Colin Sexton, Isaac Okoro, Modest Buzelis, and Jalen Smith. Okay, so Colin Sexton has an expiring contract,
Mhm.
and I thought that he'd be part of another deal. I have not had it confirmed yet whether or not the Bulls tried to push Colin Sexton, but Sexton was a good player for Charlotte. Good defender, long, and so he's a guy here that's going to be looking for more money, and the Bulls will not be paying it. I heard Karnisovas today in the press conference says we have opportunity now to have more flexibility financially to spend on who? To
Right.
spend on who? Trey Jones is still with the team, right? Jaden
Mhm.
Ivey, Chicago guy, Anthony Simons. Somehow, some way, Patrick Williams is still on this roster.
I mean, who's going to take on that $18 to $20 million a year?
Noah Asenge, who's been hurt all season. Like this is so bad. They have $175 million projected salary. The first apron is $195.9. But the point is, though, is that it comes down to this. They put all the eggs into the Josh Giddey basket. Okay. You didn't pay Kobe White, but you paid Josh Giddey because he needed that from a PR standpoint. He needed to be able to go someplace where it's like, whatever happened in the past, what you heard, I'm good. I'm clean. I'm with the Bulls now. Okay, great. But you're not winning anything. You paid Josh Giddey, but you wouldn't pay Kobe White. And so who's the difference maker? Who's the star on this team? Who's going to be you're going to build around Buzelis and then what?
I think they've hitched their wagon to Buzelis and Giddey, and that's it. That's but the real hope is Buzelis. That's it. They're hoping that this guy turns into a legit superstar. I think Buzelis will end up being a good player. I don't think he's going to be a difference maker in the NBA. He could end up eventually taking Kobe White's spot as maybe a top 30, 35 player in the league. But that's not going to get you past Cleveland. It's not going to get you past Boston, especially once they're revamped and they got a veteran center with Vooch now in Boston. It's not going to get you past the Knicks.
No.
It's not going to get you past those teams that are sitting atop the Eastern Conference right now. So this again goes back to my mistrust of Arturas Karnisovas because you've messed around and had mid teams getting into the play-in every year. So you've been somewhere around 10 to 14 with the lottery. I think a couple of years they had maybe the 7th pick or something like that. But look what Arturas has done with those picks.
Mm-hmm.
Dalen Terry.
Yeah.
Like Patrick Williams.
Mm-hmm.
These are picks that he's had that he's absolutely completely messed up. And that goes back to me saying, I don't trust this dude. I don't trust him or Mark Eversley to be able to rebuild this team with, their 27 second round draft picks, which I believe they're going to create the greatest dynasty in the history of the G League with the Windy City Bulls. So if you're out here where I am in Hoffman Estates, get those tickets now because the Windy City Bulls, they're about to go on a run with all these second round picks.
And a guy that probably should have been on the roster anyway, but now is on the roster that you'll probably see on a regular basis. Mac McClung. Ish will put it out there, let you know that Mac McClung is going to be with this team. He's going to be the 3-time NBA dunk contest champion on a 2-way deal. He's going to suit up. He's suiting up for 3 games for the Pacers this season. And has he been waived already by the Bulls, the Windy City Bulls?
Has he been waived that fast? He just got here.
Damn it.
He just literally got here. Mac McClung, that era was it was too short. We could have had at least another 5 minutes of you. I don't.
Okay, so tell me about, we talk about Kobe White. Tell me about Ayo Dosunmu.
That one was the head scratcher.
Why was he traded, do you believe?
That one is the head scratcher. I don't understand that because from everything that I've read and seen, it felt as though the organization was really all in on Io. You've read the reports. I read the reports about teams, looking to either get Kobe or Io. And the
Yeah.
consensus seemed to be that the Bulls would be willing to let Kobe go, but they wanted to keep Io. So them letting Io go to me is interesting, head scratching. He's a veteran guard that I think played probably better with Modest and Giddey as opposed to Kobe. Kobe needs the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
Io kind of needs the ball in his hand, but not as much. I think he could have, fed off those other two better than Kobe. This makes absolutely zero sense. And that was the point where I'm just like, all right, fire everybody. Everybody has to go because you can't make the, and then you another barrage of second round picks, in exchange for Io DeSumo. Again, not an elite player, but he has a name around the league where I think you could have gotten something better for him.
This is something that Joe Cowley cornered Karnisovas on the press conference because Karnisovas used to laugh at second round draft picks, and I think everybody does. They do not have the value as they once did. If you got someone in the second round that was quality that you could mold and shape into a good organization or to a good player, awesome. Good organization could say, okay, second round pick, we'll stash him in the G League, we'll put him in Europe and then bring him back, or they can work on the main team and they can be a rotation player. The Spurs used to be really good with this with Pop.
Mm-hmm.
They get a second round pick and like, okay, I just need you to give me your best 5 minutes. Give me your best 7-8 minutes defensively. That's all we want. We just want to work you into the rotation. And the Spurs used to be really good at that. But today, the second round pick has very little value, but yet the Bulls has a whole bunch of them. It's the equivalent of you going to dinner at a 5-star restaurant and paying with pennies. Well, the person that's going to take the check, like, so where's the money? Like, oh no, I get this bag of coins for you. That's how I'm paying for it. This is all second round draft picks. They have value, but not enough value for you to care, And so for them to do that is crazy. So I'm looking at KC Johnson here. He says, after 7 trades, and there's been all these trades by the Bulls. Here's your depth chart. Like it's Giddey, Jones, and Dillingham that's on the team at point guard. As shooting guards, it's Anthony Simons, Colin Sexton, and Ivy, Buzelis and Okoro, Smith, Williams, and Miller, and Yabusele and Richards as your centers, because Richards on this team as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just tell you something. I want to make sure it's very clear. If no one else has said it, I think we should say it here on Under the Hood. For years around here, we have been concerned about the perception of the Chicago Bulls around the league. You don't want to get in a position, if you're Chicago, that, oh, Chicago, I don't want to play there. You want to clean up that image past the time of Paxson and Gar Forman. You want to be able to say, okay, you turn the page on that regime, new regime comes in, and you want to be able to say Chicago's a destination for you to play. Not an option like, oh my God, I got nowhere else to go with the musical chairs. I guess I got to come to Chicago. You want to put yourself, Charles, in a position where the Chicago Bulls could be a viable destination for a free agent. This was something we've talked about going back to Derrick Rose era, right? Where Derrick was like, I ain't going to recruit. You want to find me? Come find me. Like that kind of thing. But people want to play with Derrick because they saw how good that team was. Probably afraid of Tibbs, but they still like the team. What do you think free agents think of now when they see the Chicago Bulls team, the way that they have just decimated this team? You picked a direction, but again, just remember who's in front of it. It's Karnisovas. You want to play for him? You might want to play for Billy, but you want to play for like a bunch of guys that are just okay or at best. So the perception is going to be also further ruined by what the Bulls have done here by going nowhere fast.
Oh, and yeah, absolutely. And here's the other thing. The players that came in this trade, once they finally get everybody together and they pass their physicals and all of this stuff, when you got Jaden Ivey and Colin Sexton and others, they're going to be just good enough again to win some games they have no business winning. And that's going to be the real maddening part, that you blew this thing up, but you got some players that can, sneak out a win here and there. And the Bulls could, mess around and, once again, find themselves in the play-in. you're picking a lane, but then you're not even doing that correctly, because at least like give me bums in return where I know I'm about to lose 25 straight games and just really
Yeah.
tank.
But
They
you're
didn't
too
even
late on that. You should have did that 2 or 3 years ago.
exactly. You should have done it 2 or 3 years ago, and then you're bringing back players who, Jay Knive is going to be looking to go out there and ball. Some of these other players, Anthony Simons is going to be looking out there to go out there and ball, to show what I can do. They didn't even do that right, and that again is the reason why I can't trust this organization to do something as simple as tanking. They can't even do that right.
No.
So we're gonna
we can't do that. Now
Yeah.
you can't do that because, well, here's the thing. The reason why you can't do that, Charles, is because what you were just trying to massage the shoulders of Michael Reinsdorf by saying, I've never, keep in mind, never accuse activity with accomplishment.
Mhm.
Just remember what he's trying to do is to tell the owner, hey, look, we gave you a couple extra play-in games. The lights are still on in late April. Like that means something, playing in the play-in game. So that meant something for our Terrence Karnisovas, playing well in the second half to get into the play-in game. Like that really mattered. So now there's a direction. And I don't know if that's an edict from on high. My hope it is from Michael Reinsdorf to get rid of guys so that way they can get rid of this management group. But if it isn't, if this guy presides over the next draft and the free agency, brother, yeah, you think it's tough here. If I want to be a Washington Wizards fan, I would buy a John Wall jersey because that's who they are. Just like teams like Sacramento, teams that's always dwelling in the basement, because we could ask for the rebuild, and I could ask for it. But if you got someone that doesn't know what he's doing in that chair, it's a mess. It could be this way for a while in the bottom.
It probably will be this way for quite some time, because yes, you're have $35 million of space apparently. Yes, you've got all these draft picks, even though they're in the second round, and you've got a bunch of expiring contracts, at the end of the season. But what are they going to do with it is going to be the question. And if you're a Giannis, and I didn't even mention that name because we know Giannis isn't coming to Chicago.
Right.
But if you're a star athlete, that's looking to, make a move and go somewhere, you're going to make a move and go somewhere to a team that you feel I'm the missing piece to take this team from point A to point B. No one's going to want to come to Chicago when they're literally at the bottom here. Which brings me to my next question.
Yes, sir.
This isn't what Billy Donovan signed up for.
No, he did not. Billy Donovan has came here after being with Oklahoma City, right? And he says, and by the way, that's the look on his face, like every night, that look, hands on his hips and just looking bemused, like what the hell's going on? Billy Donovan was going to go chill for a year after his time with Oklahoma City. And give Arturas Karnisovas credit, he went to go find Billy Donovan on a boat someplace in Florida. And it was like, yeah, we need you to coach the team. And Billy's like, I'm chilling. And like, no. This is how much we're going to pay you, Billy. We want you to come to the Bulls. And by the way, top shelf hire. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. But Billy Donovan thought that he was going to be able to come to Chicago and a team that would be competitive. He got tired of being the bridesmaid at Oklahoma City. There was a ceiling on that success with KD and Russ and James Harden. Like, they were good teams, but he just couldn't get over the hump. And so Billy was going to just wait. And the Bulls like, no, this is what we have. We have cap space. We got talent. You're the guy that's the missing piece. We can't run out. Was that Uncle Fester? That was the coach of the Bulls before this, right? We can't have him out there again. So that was a significant upgrade. But then Billy looks around. He goes, "Oh my God! Like I'm not coaching the top-notch talent. I'm coaching kids." He did not come here to coach kids. He enjoys the money he's getting paid, and he loves the idea of the nuts and bolts of coaching, but he did not come to the Bulls for this shit at all.
No. And now that makes me question if he really wants to stick around, because the Bulls owe him that money, whether he decides to cut bait or not, he's going to get that money. So now if you're Karnisovas, how do you sit this man in your office and convince him to go through a rebuild. But by the way, no real building blocks. I mean, except Zealous to really speak of. No first round, draft picks of any stature, because even the Bulls will miss the playoffs. They're probably going to end somewhere around 8, 9, 10. So, and even though this is scheduled to be a deep draft, yeah, you might get a player, but you need a whole team. Billy's not going to stick around for this. And now again, do you trust this guy? Yes, he brought in Billy Donovan, but do you trust this guy now to get a coach of equal stature to come coach a team that has really no direction? The answer is going to be no. So it all goes back to this. If Michael Reinsdorf has any balls, as you mentioned, he has to blow this thing up from the top all the way down. And Arturas Karnisovas must go. Now, the only other question is, will Michael Reinsdorf have the balls to actually bring in a vice president of operations to actually run the team? Because that's what Oklahoma City had when they decided to blow it up. They had an organizational structure to put a team together and build it. And now, they could be on possibly a dynastic run if they can keep that together. We have nothing like that here in Chicago. Not even close.
Make sure you keep your comments going here on the Bulls and the NBA trade deadline. We want to be able to hear your thoughts on what's going on here. But it's just Kobe White is, if he stays healthy, he's going to be an igniter for the Charlotte Hornets. And just watching Io now go to Minnesota, that's where he's going, to the Timberwolves, right? That was that deal.
Yeah.
Like, someone asked, let me get to this, because you got to be able to watch what's going on with the Chicago Bulls. Black Rain says Io is not a star. He's okay. That's not the point. He's having the best year of his career, Black Rain. Like, every player in the NBA is not dope, but there's a lot of players in the NBA that you say that's a good role player coming off the bench, or that guy can be able to do this or do that. It's not it. Ayo Dosunmu was a key cog to the Chicago Bulls. When he's on the floor, I thought it was a net positive.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not about it is about stars in the NBA, but the idea that Ayo Dosunmu had to be disposable is wrong. Like, every team needs to have stars and role players and guys that can be able to work together. I was one of those guys that is probably never going to be an NBA superstar, but he can be a guy that can be a glue guy, and every team needs that. So it's not like we're holding on to the hem of the garment of Ayo Dosunmu, but what we're saying is that here's a guy here that's going to be able to be always a glue guy, always, for the most part, making the right play, terrific shooter, great eye for the basket. And so that's why that matters.
Yeah. And that was the point of me, saying that the Ayo trade was a head scratcher, because this is someone, when he's on the court, you can trust him to play well, to mesh well with his teammates. And yeah, there may be a night where Ayo goes off, scores 25, 30 points. He has that ability to do that. But more than likely, he's going to be a guy that can get to the basket, get to the free throw line, will play all out, defensively, do kind of the nuts and bolts things that you need from players like him, to keep that thing going. That's what an Ayo does for your team. And like you said, every team has an Ayo Dosunmu. So to actually get rid of that glue, that nuts and bolts guy, when you're trying to, rebuild, you already had a nuts and bolts guy. Why do you get rid of that? Because now you got to go out and find another one.
I just don't understand. Like, listen, you picked a direction. That's great. But now you have to let go. Now that you stockpile all these second round picks, which it's a failure, by the way. Everyone in the league's laughing like at the Bulls for saying, oh, now you finally pick up the phone, maybe 2 years too late, 3 years maybe too late in some instances. And all you can get is draft picks that are second rounders. Like, people are laughing around the league. And also, as always, they're texting me, asking me, hey, what are you doing? As if I'm in the front office. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm sitting here watching Bad Bulls basketball in Chicago every night. That's what I'm doing. I'm watching a rudderless ship. That's what I'm watching. Let's go around the NBA. Charles, let's go around the NBA and talk about some of the things that did not happen. Number one, John Morant stays in Memphis. So that's one thing. Like that was a close thing because people thought that he'd get traded. That did not happen. And the other one was this man here, Giannis Antetokounmpo. That was decided this afternoon that Giannis would be staying with the Milwaukee Bucks. And so this summer, we're going to see exactly where he's going to go. But at this point in time, he's going to be with this bad basketball team and probably not play a lot down the stretch.
Oh yeah, I don't want to say he's mentally checked out, but yeah, he's probably, mentally checked out.
Yes.
The Bucks are an interesting case because there were some offers like being thrown their way. I believe Golden State offered them 4 first-round draft picks, unprotected, and Milwaukee was like, "Nah, we're good, we got it." I don't know what Milwaukee's thinking, but you're gonna have a very disgruntled superstar on your hands for the next couple of months, and then you're gonna look to try to trade him. Where other teams will probably look in different directions when you probably had the chance to get as much as you possibly could for a top 10 player in Giannis, and you may not have those type of deals on the table come the summer. So interesting move by the Bucks. Hope it works out for them.
I mean, it will be the summer of Giannis. He's not coming to Chicago, but I think that Miami, maybe down the line, could be a team. It could be not Oklahoma City. It could be San Antonio. Could be Houston. But yeah, he's sticking around. So this offseason is going to be very interesting for Giannis, who will continue to tell you he's not asking for a trade. He keeps telling you like he's not interested, and it's like, all right, bro, I trust you. Yes, you don't want to trade. Yeah. He's so passive aggressive that way. We say this about LeBron, but Giannis is trying to be the good guy so bad. And like, dude, you gave them a championship. If you want to go, go. No one's stopping you. So he's just gonna just chill in the cut, for a while with Milwaukee, and then we'll see what happens. Michael Willis asked a very good question. He says he doesn't understand how Patrick Williams is still on the team. Well, this is again something against Arturas Karnisovas. In that same draft, Charles, am I misremembering? Was Tyrese Halliburton in that draft?
Yes.
The P. Will draft? Okay.
He was. And I
Good job.
He went 3 picks later to the Indiana Pacers.
Good job.
When most people said this is the best point guard coming out of college, was Tyrese Halliburton. And they went and got a 6'9" forward. He can't do much of anything.
6 man off the bench for Florida State.
Yeah.
Project, we like him. Project Long. He is big, and he is just a statue for this Bulls team. Just an albatross around the neck. You're not supposed to be so harsh on young players, but he's an older guy now. He's a veteran in the league and still not doing anything. But he's on the end. I mean, for a guy of his stature, he should be starting every night, dominating on the boards. He should walk in there with 15 and 10 every night. Patrick Williams.
Yeah.
Nah, can't do it.
I just don't understand how he has not been able to flip that switch, to become that guy, because physically, he has it, from a physicality standpoint, like he has that build where, 18 and 10 should come easy to him. It should come easy to him. And I don't know what's up here that's stopping him from being that guy. But that, if you're talking about the Achilles heel of Arturas Karnisovas during his tenure, it has been his drafting. And all you need to go is straight to Patrick Williams to tell the story of how inept Karnisovas has been.
Let's continue to go around the league here and talk about James Harden. Let's talk about him very right. So James Harden leaves the Clippers where the Clippers are actually playing good basketball lately, to go to the Cavs for Darius Garland. You ever have that girl, right? This is before the marriage, before the marriage. You ever had that girl that just didn't know what she wanted? Like she lived in Chicago and she's like, I'm gonna move to LA. And just like, I'm gonna move to New York. You're like, why? I don't know. I'm just gonna move. Like, you ever have that one just antsy, just not knowing exactly what they want in life? This is James Harden. This is, I mean, he look at his closet. Look how many uniforms that dude's got in his closet. So now he's gonna go to the Cavs. And of course, NBA people are like, oh, James Harden, oh, he is going to the Cap. You know what that is. We know how this movie ends. He starts heating up in the second half, and then in a tight playoff spot, he freezes and ruins your team when he goes 1 for 19 from three. And then that'll be all. And then he goes to some other place looking for chicken wings at the strip club. This is who he is, man. He's there as a grim reaper to your basketball team. He is. It's cool when she comes over, but then you realize the habits, and then you're like, I need to get her out of here. And before you can get her out of here, she's already gone. You go to work, and all of a sudden you come home, and her stuff's gone. What happened? Oh, she went to Cleveland. That's James Harden. It's amazing. Like he will be the detriment and the downfall of that Cavs team.
Well, I haven't been to Cleveland, nor do I want to go ever. But you know, unlike Houston, unlike some of the other cities that he's been in, I don't think he may have to worry that much about top shelf strip clubs. So maybe he might be able to concentrate. Having said that, you're absolutely right. Everywhere he's been, he has just left ruin, and it's never his fault. It's never been his fault. In OKC, it was, well, I can't play with KD and Russ. I'm not going to be able to really shine, in that type of a scenario. So look, let me go to Houston. Well, Houston, I need more talent. Cool. You got Dwight Howard. I need more talent. Cool. You get Chris Paul. You're 15 minutes away from getting to the NBA Finals, and you blow a 15-point fourth quarter lead, to Golden State. Oh, well, I don't know what to do. We needed more talent. Cool. Bring Russ back. No problem. That doesn't work. Now you put on the fat suit and go to Brooklyn. Oh, I got Kyrie and KD now. We about to run things. That didn't work. Time to jump ship. Go to the Clippers. He just continuously does this. And for whatever reason, no one calls him out on his BS. No one.
No.
It's always someone else's fault other than him. Listen, I'm a James Harden hater. I will say that proudly. I think he has been a black hole for every team that he has been on, and the how he continues to get away with the antics that he pulls with each and every team is just befuddling to me.
The CTJreport.net, and make sure you go to social media. We'll have that out there for you in the description of this podcast. He is part of Under the Hood, so make sure that you support this man. Let's go back. Let's go to the crib. There's a new graphic. Let's go to the crib. Let's go to Anthony Davis, Street Clothes. You and I can go back and forth on the top 75 players ever to play in high school basketball in the city / state.
Mm-hmm.
We would not come to Anthony Davis. We wouldn't even say his name. Think about the best high school players you've ever seen, or that we've never seen, but we've read about.
Mm-hmm.
That dude would never make it, but yet he's top 75 in the NBA. You're not even top 75 at the crib. How are you top 75 in the NBA? Anyway, 10-time All-Star Anthony Davis is reportedly headed to Washington. That's from Mark Stein. That's official. Anthony Davis somehow found his way to the Wizards in an 8-player trade. Washington gets Anthony Davis, Jaden Hardy, D'Angelo Russell. Who's still in the league? D'Angelo Russell. Like, he's never leaving. Dante Exum. Dallas gets Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, Marvin Bagley III. Oh, my God. Malachi Branham, 2 future first-round picks, 3 future second-round picks. Okay, so a couple of things that work here. So the worst trade in the history of the NBA, where Luka Doncic goes to the LA for Anthony Davis, that is always banged up. He is glass man. is Samuel L. Jackson going down the stairs. Ah, ah, my back, my arms, they're all broke. This is Anthony Davis, Glass Man, and he's now with the Wizards with Trae Young. I love NBA heads too, man. We're NBA guys, but I love listening to NBA guys. Man, you know what? That could be something. Really. Trae Young and Anthony Davis. In what world? Now all of a sudden the Wizards are a whip now. Now watch them now. Watch them. So the number one thing is that Anthony Davis is part of a terrible deal, right? So Charles, Dallas immediately trades him. And so if you're a Mavericks fan, you're like, I know we got Cooper Flag, but what was that all about? Why, I mean, we had Luka, and then you make this stupid deal, and now even the guy that was part of the deal is now with Washington and not with Dallas. That's a mess.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least they still have Cooper Flag, so they've got a starting block somewhere. But yeah, would Luka have? And I know Luka took him to a finals a couple of years ago, but would Luka would he been able to get in shape in Dallas? You know, it seemed like him being traded to the Lakers, you know, motivated him to, you know, finally, you know, get in shape and do something, you know, in regards to, you know, being tired late in the season and in the playoffs. I don't know if that would have happened in Dallas, but at the same time, if you're the Dallas Mavericks, you can't make that trade. Like, no. You have to try to ride this out. And, you know, sending Glassman over to the Wizards, I mean, now if you're a Mavericks fan, you're like, what was all this for? What was all this for? Kyrie's hurt and you don't see him but, you know, a few times a year. And now you're just going to have to pin your hopes on Cooper Flag to see if he becomes a superstar that everybody thinks he's going to be. But meanwhile, Luka's putting up numbers.
Yes, he is, sir.
In Los Angeles.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's putting up numbers, and you know, as soon as they can, you know, sit old man LeBron down once and for all, he can, you know, truly take the reins with the Lakers and make them a real title contender.
I don't have it in front of me. What's the Grizzlies record? Do you have that? Can you pull that up?
The Grizzlies.
The reason why it's good. So the Grizzlies get the Jazz get Jaren Jackson Jr., John Conchar, and Vince Williams, Walter Clayton Jr., Tyler Hendricks, George Niang, and Kyle Anderson, and 3 first-round draft picks. That's what the Grizzlies get. So Jaren Jackson Jr. traded away from the Grizzlies. That was a story. Also, the other one I want to point out is, I gotta get to my hold on a second, I gotta get to the graphic. There it is. All the NBA teams. Pistons part with young guard Jaden Ivey to the Bulls and Mike Conley, and the Pistons get Kevin Huerter, Dario Saric, and Saric never played for the Bulls, and a first round pick swap, and the Wolves get a cash considerations. So so Kevin Huerter, like a piece for the Bulls now with that Pistons team that's in first place in the East. Do you have the Grizzlies? Where are they in the East? Or the West?
They're 20-29 in the 11th spot, 2 games outside of the play-in. So, you know, maybe they're going to try to make a push, you know, to get into the play-in. But, you know, until they decide exactly what they want to do with Ja Morant, that's another team that's just kind of, you know, twiddling their thumbs and just, you know, spitting in mud there. Because I think the days of Memphis being a true title contender out in the West, that door has shut. That window is closed.
They were trying to tank by hoping they could trade their star guard, but that's not going to happen now. They tried Ja Morant, but now it's not happening. And last thing is the Cavs shake things up. Dennis Schroeder, Keon Ellis, and Emmanuel Miller. Cavs get those guys. The Kings get DeAndre Hunter. Bulls get Saric and the 2 second-round picks. And, of course, Saric got flipped after that. Dennis Schroeder, I laugh at that name because I remember when he was with the Lakers and he comes into the camp, right? He goes into the facility And and Schroeder comes up to LeBron and he's like, "Oh man, he's German, right? Schroeder.
Yeah, Schroeder, yeah.
He's German. He's like, it's so good to work with you. It's going to be great to play with you." And LeBron's like, "Yeah, all good." And Schroeder's like, "Yeah, they brought me here to help you win a championship. They said you need the help." LeBron looked at him like, "What? You're here to help? You here to help me?" It's like, "Yeah, we heard you need the help, so they brought me in to help you." And he just walks away, just like he wasn't fooling. He was like for real, like yeah, you need the help, LeBron. I'm here to help you. Like, you multicolored hair German dude coming up to black German dude telling me, what are you saying? So, and by the way, the Warriors knew what was going on with Giannis because they said that, okay, we're not in the Giannis sweepstakes, so they must have known maybe 24 to 48 hours before this, Charles, that like, yeah, Giannis to the Warriors. They weren't willing to give up. Probably weren't really willing to give up a number of assets.
Yeah.
So like Draymond Green. So now that didn't happen. So overall, sir, what are your closing thoughts here? Because and also, if you have any more comments, we have super chats, regular chats. You can always just jump in on our Bulls and NBA conversation. Anything you want to talk about with the Bulls or the NBA, we're starting to close up shop here in Under the Hood, and of course, brought to you by Incan Law, 312-6 million for the great Howard Incan. Injury law made personal. That is Incan Law. Any final thoughts, Charles Taylor?
I mean, league-wise, at this trade deadline coming and going, some shakeups, but I think that the teams that are on top right now are going to stay there. I don't see any teams. Maybe Boston with Vooch, with a solid veteran center, and now knowing that Jaylen Brown can carry a team without Jason Tatum. I think Boston. I think Boston wants to see, how far we can take this, with a veteran center with Vooch and Jaylen Brown to see how far they can go. Boston's probably the one team out of this trade deadline that I think, kind of put their chips in. Let's see. Hey, I mean, the East is wide open. Why not? They feel like they could beat a Detroit. They feel like they can beat a New York. So why not, get a veteran presence in here and see how far we can take this thing. Out West, listen, it's still OKC.
Yeah.
San Antonio may put up a bit of a challenge. I still think they're probably a year still away from really challenging OKC. But yeah, this trade deadline, while interesting and a lot happened, I don't think it did really too much to shake up the landscape of the NBA. And as far as the Bulls are concerned, good night, folks.
That's it. Good night, Chicago Bulls fans. Only the Bulls. Only the Bulls. The one and only Chicago Bulls. But you know what you're going to see, though, when the Bulls come back home?
A full stadium.
18,000 people there to see the Bulls because they think Jordan and Pippen and Kukoc are coming back. Full stadium. Full stadium, sir.
Yeah, I mean, Benny's entertaining. Benny the Bull's entertaining, and that's you want to get popcorn thrown on you, and have him do his stupid half court shot, over over his shoulder and all of. Listen, it's an entertaining product from the standpoint of you'll get a good show, but yes, it is sad times. It's sad times that you have to watch that product on a night in and night out basis just be terrible. Let's just call it what it is. That is a terrible ball club. But hey, let's go to the United Center because it's fun, and we can take pictures with the Jordan statue and the Pippen bust. That's out there.
Peacock and I went to the United Center last night. It's
How
the
was
first time I've been in the building since Derrick Rose's number was retired. I was not there. I was out of town for the ceremony, but I just couldn't help when we took our seats to look up at the Raptors and see Pooh's number up there.
Yeah.
And I know that he's proud that the Chicago Bulls retired his number in front of his family and all that, but he's got to be saying internally, like, this is just nonsense here. This is bad. And so I thought about that for a second, and then I thought, boy, Tony Braxton's still looking good. That was my next thought.
Yeah. The key question here, was Bobby Brown on time?
so for those that don't know, there's a tour that's going on with New Edition with Tony Braxton and Boys to Men. And you know, for someone that has to get up at 3:45, and I know a lot of people have to get up early to, you know, with family and getting their, you know, get to their job or whatever. Bobby Brown at some point around 11 o'clock was all of us. He just stopped doing the dance moves. He just stopped.
He's like, giving you
I mean, very little. I mean, he was into a little bit. He gave me a little kid and play, but that was kind of brief, right? You know, you hook the leg and you just kind of go around, and just some of the stuff from like 85, you know, gave me some things. And then at some point, you know, everyone else is in good shape and can still move around a little bit. Even a John Gill, give you a little some. Ralph Tresvant still thinks he's 21, you know, showing the chest, you know, for the ladies, you know, and like at some point, Bobby Brown just waved it off. He's just like, just give me to my prerogative. just get to my hits, because he wasn't about that BBD and being a background for BBD. He wasn't trying to be a background for, you know, but the best thing is for us to be apart, like our anthems back in college, back in the day, right? Some quality, right? But then, like, at some point, Bobby Brown's like, he just waved it off. He's like, man, I'm not dancing no more, bro. Like, I'm tired. Just give me to my solo stuff so I could just get in there and just lock in and sing, you know? So that was some funny stuff right there, because, yes, he was on time, but he was just what I kept thinking is, you know, I enjoyed the concert immensely. But, Charles, I kept thinking that Bobby's thinking, another 18 cities of this, huh? That's more. Like, this is a Wednesday night in Chicago.
Yeah.
He was like, oh no, I gotta keep doing this act every night. Like I'm not like, none of those guys are spring chickens, but a lot of those guys are in shape to be able to do 3/4 of the stuff they used to do. Like quality, the music's quality. It's not lip sync. It's great stuff. But like, I could tell Bob Brown was just like, oh my God, he just wanted to get to the bed. You can just tell at 11 o'clock, he was just exhausted. Thank you, Chicago. Good night. Boom. Just dropped the mic, just shuffling back to the back, just like exhausted in a full sweat. Like, it's a workout for those guys, you know, but like, you know, Ralph Tresvant still trying to mac to the ladies. Like, hey man, this ain't 85. Just step back, right? Like Johnny Gill. Oh my God. Tony Braxton still doing the Texas Triangle.
Yeah.
No Jason Kidd, no Jimmy Jackson, and no Jamal Mashburn there last night, but still doing the Texas Triangle. Look that up for you young folks out there. They want to know. Young folks want to know how wild Tony Braxton was back in the day. Mm-hmm. She talked about how emotional she is with the lupus, but she's like, she's still coming out there and singing no matter what, right? And she's, you know, she's still got the low register, you know, not man enough for me. She's like still killing it with that, right? She was great. And then you got Boys to Men, quality. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how you get that harmony like from the rip, right? It takes nothing for them to give you the old 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like, they get into it, man. I'm like, man, they get into it. I thought that the mix was a little bit strange for them, like a little bit too much guitar. You could tell. I'm on the second level in the club level, and you could hear it. That's like, you tell like a little bit too much guitar, maybe a little bit too much instrument, not enough of the Boys to Men. So anytime that you see a concert and you see a performer flip the earphone out, the earpiece, they're like, oh, fuck this. Like, they just, and you can still hold your note. Yeah. Quality.
I miss 90s R&B. I miss 90s R&B.
It was a great night. It was a great night. You look around, Charles, and you go, yep, when you were 21, yep. We know why you were into that band. You know, I could tell. Yeah, you could just, you look around like, yeah. You could see it.
It's quality. I'm sure it was like
some of those old ladies, older ladies tried to dress like they were back in the day of 18, 19, 20, but
they're aunties now, so they got to show. They still got it.
Just a side note as we close: Michael Bivins pulls the mic back. You've seen this before, I'm sure, at concerts. Some of those lines they used to sing, pulls the mic off, doesn't do like backstage underage adolescent.
Well, that's probably a good idea to not do
Yeah.
those lyrics.
Just say some still sung it. Some
Yeah.
still had it, but Bivens, like the businessman, pulled it away.
Yeah.
Some of those lines, like they're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, not for me.
They're in their almost 60s. They're not talking about backstage underage.
Yeah, because then you get mentioned in files, and you don't want to be mentioned in those type of files.
I need a body bag.
Yeah.
So it's just like, no, it was good though. Like it was good. Started on time too. 8 o'clock is 8 o'clock for that group. Because we're coming, because it's the United Center, right? You're sitting in the parking. You're just trying to just get there, right? Trying to get past Warren and trying to get to Lot C, and just like it's like you're sitting there and then you finally get through, and all of a sudden you hear Braxton, like as you're lined up at the door, and you're like, 8 o'clock's 8 o'clock. Damn. All right, here we go. 3-hour concert. Like,
Let's go.
I was like, well, and like Michelle and I are like rushing to the seats, like getting up the escalator, like, and they had just started. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. 8 o'clock's 8 o'clock.
That's it. Let's get going.
They're not staying with you all night. So that was fun. Please, as you watch this, I see you guys in the chat. Thank you so much for your support on everything we do with Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. We got so much. We're going to have LA in space coming up in a little bit here on Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. But CJ, as always, I appreciate it. We're presented by Ink and Law. 312-6 million for the great Howard Ink and Injury Law Made Personal. They support us. We want you to support them. Ink and Law, 312-6 million. And so the footnote of this, folks, the Bulls are in dire straits, in bad shape, bad shape. But that's okay. Follow CJ, follow Charles Taylor. He'll tell you about every bad Bulls game every night. He's there for you.
How do I continue to do this?
Right here at Under the Hood with Jonathan Hood. So long, everybody. Bye, Bulls. Bye. Bye.